her back. Right, Pitbird? Yeah. Good girl. Alright, so we're finding ourselves a nice place to graze over here. Right, Pretty? And Pretty Bird is definitely feeling a lot better now. So she's got a big old scab on her foot, but it's healing. There is no visible infection going on. It doesn't feel hot. It doesn't appear to be swollen. The scab seems to be holding so far, and we're going to continue taking it easy on her foot. And I'll keep y'all updated, okay? Thank you for all the good wishes, and I hope you guys enjoy seeing Pretty Bird today. Right, Pretty? I gotta get my backpack off. There you go. There you go. Pretty Bird's a pirate today. Yeah. Are you a pirate? Pretty Bird, you getting num-nums? It's okay, honey. They're just playing with a ball. The grass over here seems a little bit longer, honey. Come here. Goo, goo, goo. Goo, goo, goo. Goo, goo, goo. What, that way? All right. Let's see if I can get a glimmer of her foot for you guys. There. Oh. Hey, Bird. You enjoying your num-nums? Okay, it's the one on the left right there. This one. Don't poop on us. So she starts wiggling her tail. Anyway, so I figured I'd tell you guys a little bit something about me today. So you guys can get to know me a little bit and know why I am, well, a goose person, an animal person. Where this is coming from. This is going to be a story about Daisy. Daisy was a female duck. Pretty sure you guys, I'm pretty sure she would have been considered a Muscovy, something like that, but like the German version. So yes, I grew up in Germany from the age of 3 up. I was born in the US, and I moved back to the States after I met my husband, after I was 18. So I've been back in the US now for, let's see, 12 years-ish? No, wait, 14 years? Ha! Look at my math skills. Anyways, when I was about, I want to say 14, 15-ish, I lived in a small town in Germany that is attached to a military base. And there's a lot of different ethnicities in that town, a lot of different mixed cultures, and the town itself is beautiful, and the land is too. What happens at night is up for debate, but we had this beautiful lake in the center of our town, and we called it the Vaya. Well, the Vaya had lots of duckies and had some swans that would come in every year, and it was pretty deep. It was, I'm pretty sure, artificially made. It would get drained once in a while. and like every so many years. And well, it was the place we went to go feed ducks, and it was the place we went when we were little, and to see the duckies and the swans, and feed the fish, and the ducks and the swans and all that, and see the birdies. And when we got older, it was the place where we would hang out. You know, groups of teenagers would hang out at the villa and do what teenagers do: talk, chit chat, or break the rules. You know, but one day I was walking along the via, because I was walking from one place to another, like I was on my way home, I think, and I noticed some activity right next to the border between, like right at where the water, like on the edge, the shoreline, I guess we call it. And at that very point, I noticed that there was an adult duck, a female duck, but she didn't appear to be moving, but I noticed something was moving. So it seemed kind of odd, something little yellowish, brownish. And I noticed there was a chick, a little duckling. And I looked around, and I'd realized that one duck appeared to have a very large amount of ducklings. And I was no stranger to the fact that sometimes ducks and other waterfowl or other animals will accept the babies of others, or maybe even steal them, but sometimes they'll accept the babies of others if they start following them. And that can happen. The babies need an adult to be able to survive. But this one duckling didn't appear to get the memo. It didn't leave mama. It didn't want to go. Or maybe it couldn't go or didn't notice. I don't know. But I mean, that mom must have had like 20 plus babies with her. So I don't believe that those were all hers. And they didn't match in size, and they matched to the one that was with the deceased mother. She appeared to have injuries. To me at the time as a child, it appeared as though there were some troublemakers that may have killed her. That was not a usual thing, but it could happen, because you know you have your occasion where there's, you know, a teenager or an unruly kid, or even just somebody who's an immature adult or something that decides to throw rocks at animals or something, and that's what I believe to have happened to her. So the baby was so, I don't know, weak, lethargic or something. It was moving around and kind of nuzzling in the water and everything around the mother, but it wasn't running away from me. So I walked up and I grabbed it and I wrapped it in my jacket and I brought it home. And so since I was in Germany, of course, there's a lot more, like, it's a lot easier to find food source, like, naturally. Like, I could just, like, I'm saying that compared to, like, Arizona. So I would go in my backyard and I started digging in the dirt and I started, like, just fishing out a whole bunch of worms, and I boiled up a little bit of oatmeal in water, and I combined that, and I put a couple seeds in there and a little bit of grass. I mean, I made like this like pasty, gooey, wormy thing. Like, and I was just guessing at the time. I mean, I was a kid. My mother wasn't even home yet. And I gave it to the ducky, and the ducky actually ate, and it started following me. And I had it for weeks throughout that summer. I mean, she was a sweetheart, but the funny thing is that she would not let anybody touch her but me. Like, she was very imprinted on me, and I loved her so much. I wanted to keep her. I was going to make her my pet. My mother wouldn't have it. There's a lot of things we disagreed on when I was younger. Still do. Sadly, I do not have a relationship with my mother, but that's besides the point. But she did not want me to keep the animal. She didn't feel that that was right. And I mean, that was her right to decide that as the mother. I was very heartbroken at the time, and she wanted me to set the animal back at the lake. Well, it wasn't grown up yet, and I refused. And we had an altercation, And well, a friend of ours at the time had a neighbor who had a beautiful piece of land. I want to say the land was probably as big as like this grass field over here. Like, it was huge, and it had this stream that went right through it. And they had a couple of ducks, and they had recently gotten some, I think it was goslings and ducklings, to grow up together. And they offered to take Daisy, and Daisy at this point was almost an adult. I mean, she was probably like, I don't know, 8 weeks old or 9 weeks old. So she was like almost all the way grown up, not adult, but almost all the way grown. And I agreed to it because I knew that she'd be taken care of. And they said they wouldn't clip her wings, they would keep her around. There's some wild ducks that hang out at that little stream, at that little, it's like a tiny river, like a stream, that hang out there. And that she would have a choice between staying on a farm, which like more like a little homestead, but to stay there, or to possibly, if she could, successfully, you know, attach to that flock that was out there. And she ended up growing up. She ended up actually mating with one of the males from the wild flock. And here, baby, come on, you're trying to groom. Let mama take it off for you. Let mama take it off for you. I know I'm all distracted talking about Daisy. I don't even have any pictures of her. But she grew up, and she actually made it with one of the wild males, and she nested right there in that backyard. And she actually hatched out her own babies and successfully raised them. And from my understanding, she didn't lose any of them. And she continued living there. Like, she would fly off to go to random locations or whatever, but she always came back to the farm. Like, that was like her, kind of like her main home. And the male would stay there with her. So at that time, I kind of got my first glimmer into how amazing these animals can be, how amazing it can feel for me to have this animal, this tiny little thing, trust me and take care of it. And I mean, she was lethargic back then, so I was literally hand feeding her and trying to get her to accept the food. And it felt amazing to save her. And from then on, I mean, even before that, but especially from then on, it's kind of always been my dream to have animals that I raise from scratch, that I care for, that I save, or that I, you know, that I supported, that I earned the trust from them, and that they love me, like me, or imprint on me, or listen to me, not because they have to, not because I'm the one that gives them food, but rather because I'm the one that they trust, because I earned it. That's what I try to do with my animals. I try to work with them so that they trust me. And maybe that's not always right, I don't know, but that's where that comes from. So Pretty Bird wasn't my first love of waterfowl, but she is my first waterfowl pet. Right, Pretty Bird? Right, Pretty Bird? Oh, so pretty. What, you got an itch right here? Coo, coo, coo. You get num-nums? Well, let's go over here where the grass looks nicer. Come on. You coming? Coo, coo. Yay, big bird! Oh, you're so pretty. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed listening to the story of my first waterfowl pet that I owned, or had, or got to help for a few weeks. And if you did enjoy the story, then see, that's her good foot. That is the good one. And if you did enjoy the story, then please give us a like. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to continue seeing Pretty Bird and Pikachu the Cockatiel in the future. And leave us your comments if you would like to. We'd love to read them and reply. And also, if you think that maybe someone else might enjoy seeing Pretty Bird or listening to this story, please do feel free to share the video with anyone you like. We hope you guys are all still doing okay, that you're healthy and safe, and we hope to see you next time. All right. Love y'all. Pretty Bird, where are you going? You say bye-bye to your friends? You say bye-bye to your flock? Say bye-bye, Pretty Bird flock. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Yeah, good girl. Pretty Bird. Bye-bye, everybody. Say bye-bye, everybody. Say bye-bye, everybody. And don't worry, you're my favorite. Yes, you are. You're Mama's favorite. And say bye-bye. Yeah, good girl.